us the news that we were going on a family trip. That family trip that many children of my time longed for. Let's go to Disneyland in California. The Florida park did not yet exist then. The months went by and the expectation was growing. I couldn't believe I was going to Disneyland. Finally came the day. We flew to Mexico City and then on another flight to Tijuana. From there we would fly to Los Angeles. That flight was overbooked and my family was left waiting for a next flight while the entire excursion we were on continued the trip. Those moments of waiting seemed eternal to me. I already wanted to get there and go to Disneyland. 536. When we finally arrived it was already late afternoon. We arrived at one of those typical Californian hotels from the movies with a large pool in the middle of the rooms. All the people on the excursion were bathing, so I begged my parents to let me swim in the pool. They agreed and I went in together with my brothers for a long time. Then we had dinner and went to sleep because the next morning would be the big day of the dream come true. I would be in Disneyland. Morning came, but when I opened my eyes I realized that something was not right. When I discussed it with my parents, it turned out that I had a very high fever. Finally, the son of a doctor and with the enthusiasm of getting to know Disneyland, I said, "I'm still going with you. I can't miss this day." And I think my insistence was very great that we left with the group for the park at the agreed time. I don't remember much from that moment, only that my physical condition deteriorated more and more and I felt more and more miserable. By midday, I had to say, "I can't take it anymore, I want to go to bed." And I remember that my mum and I was sent back to the hotel where I slept for the rest of the day. And brothers, that was my great and long-awaited trip to Disneyland. I would like to tell you that this was an isolated experience in my life, but the reality is that it is not like that. Surely, you have also experienced very high, very special, very powerful moments in your life, followed by very low, very gloomy and sober moments. Mountaintop experiences, followed by the contrasting spooky valley. That is a reality of life. As human beings, we are not always at the top of the mountain, we do not always live with that feeling of power, of vigor, of victory, but sometimes, we also experience weakness, failure. We are vessels of clay, as the scripture says. The power, the victory, being on the top of the mountain does not depend on our strength, our resources, our abilities, but only on our great God of the covenant. At all times, we depend on our great covenant God. Today we come to the end of our sermon series, Clay Vessels. We have highlighted the fact that God's glory becomes even more evident when the instruments he uses are fragile, vulnerable, disposable and replaceable. In this way, there is no doubt who caused the purposes to be fulfilled. And there is no glory for the vessel but only for the potter. The more fragile the glass, the more glory the artist has.